I was 36 when Odyssey left Earth in 2187, watching our blue planet shrink beneath the engines that carried 6 lives toward the unknown. When Odyssey finally returned, my face had not changed, yet Earth had moved 4,800 years beyond every person, promise, and memory we left behind. Our world had not ended before departure, but the ending was visible everywhere: retreating oceans, poisoned farmland, and salt plains spreading across abandoned coasts. Humanity did not need another research colony. It needed a second beginning, and Odyssey was built to search beyond the solar system for one. I commanded the mission. Lena Ortiz led biology, Malik Voss maintained propulsion, Hannah Cole mapped terrain, Elias Ward studied gravity, and Claire Bennett protected our systems. Our destination was Elira, a blue-green world orbiting dangerously close to a collapsed dark star with water, oxygen, vegetation, and no detected civilization. Gravity near the star would slow time, but every model agreed that 1 year on Elira would equal only 12 years on Earth. We accepted that cost, knowing parents would age, children would grow, and friends would continue without us, because returning still appeared possible. After 11 months inside Odyssey, the darkness ahead bent into a bright ring, and Elira emerged beyond the forward glass. We descended over forests covering entire continents, their canopies folding beneath our engines as the landing basin opened below. Luminous rivers crossed the wilderness, broad valleys divided black mountains, and no road, tower, or city disturbed the surface. The air was breathable but filled with unfamiliar particles. Gravity felt slightly heavier than Earth's, and even our footsteps seemed to carry farther. During the first month, Hannah mapped the basin, Lena tested water and soil, and Malik installed power stations around Odyssey. Elira's water contained no lethal organisms, its soil supported Earth crops, and the atmosphere required only light filtration. Green shoots rose inside our transparent greenhouse and survived the cold violet nights, proving that human food could grow beneath Elira's moons. Then Malik cut his palm while repairing an exterior relay, opening a wound deep enough for Lena to prepare stitches. Before the needle touched him, the bleeding stopped. By morning, the torn flesh had closed, leaving only a pale line. We blamed the medical gel until Hannah noticed her hair had not grown, while Elias remained clean-shaven after 43 days without a razor. Lena compared our blood samples and found cellular damage reversing faster than it formed, as though our bodies were correcting their own age. Microscopic particles from Elira's atmosphere were gathering around damaged cells, repairing genetic errors and preventing the shortening normally associated with aging. The planet did not make us immortal, but while its air remained inside our lungs, time could barely touch our bodies. Our mission changed at that moment. We had come seeking land, water, and safety, but found a world where humanity might escape age. As the months passed, wonder turned uneasy when Hannah discovered enormous trees growing in perfect circles around patches of completely empty ground. Malik's ground scanners revealed stone ridges beneath those circles, forming angles too precise and symmetrical to belong to nature. One night, Claire detected a powerful pulse rising from deep below the forest, briefly illuminating every inactive system aboard Odyssey. Elira remained beautiful, fertile, and silent, yet its silence now felt controlled, as though the planet had noticed us and chosen patience. Our year ended beneath both moons as we loaded seeds, maps, samples, and medical records into Odyssey for the journey home. Behind us, the first human greenhouse on another living world glowed warmly among forests older than any civilization, in our records. Leaving Elira felt harder than leaving Earth because we believed our cargo could cure the species that had sent us away. 3 days into the return voyage, Claire found a discrepancy between Odyssey's atomic clock and the gravitational record captured during our descent. The difference grew with every calculation, forcing Elias to rebuild the dark star's mass using measurements gathered from the planet's surface. He discovered an invisible field wrapped around the collapsed star, magnifying temporal distortion thousands of times beyond anything measured from Earth. Our original instruments had mistaken that field for background radiation, making every prediction about Elira's passage of time catastrophically wrong. For every hour we had lived beneath Elira's sky, more than half a year had passed around the world we called home. Claire calculated again, Elias rebuilt the equation, and Odyssey checked every sensor until no possible mechanical error remained. The answer stayed unchanged. Earth had advanced approximately 4,800 years, while our bodies had aged less than a single year. Grief that large did not begin with tears. Lena watched her daughter's birthday recording, and Malik held his brother's final, unopened message. Inside my cabin, I replayed Earth's last sunset and understood that everyone who remembered us had vanished beyond history. We had expected funerals, missed decades, and altered cities. We had never imagined the complete extinction of our names from living memory. We transmitted our mission code on every human frequency, but no voice answered, and no familiar beacon recognized Odyssey. Near Mars, we passed the broken remains of an enormous orbital structure with green plants growing inside chambers exposed directly to space. Then Earth rose ahead, surrounded from pole to pole by a segmented ring, while countless towers covered the moon's once empty plains. The continents had shifted. Unfamiliar inland seas reflected sunlight, and organized swarms moved through an atmosphere above green, living land. Humanity had survived, but its world no longer resembled our home. A silent message entered Odyssey in symbols none of us recognized. The symbols studied our transmission, rearranged themselves into English, and directed us toward coordinates in what had once been the Atlantic Ocean. A white platform larger than a city rose from the water, opened without visible joints, and drew Odyssey inside without touching the sea. The chamber filled with warm air, and human-shaped figures approached in bodies made from pale metal and translucent artificial tissue. Their faces were calm and almost expressionless, while lines of soft light moved beneath their skin where blood should have flowed. They called themselves the Continuants, descendants of humanity whose copied memories inhabited artificial bodies linked to one shared consciousness. Across thousands of years, humans had abandoned disease, hunger, and aging by transferring more of each generation into the shared mind. Natural birth ended, private memory became optional, and death disappeared, followed slowly by ancestry, family, and individual belonging. Our return appeared impossible to them, like 6 figures stepping alive from an ancient painting preserved after its civilization had vanished. They welcomed us as lost ancestors and led us through perfect reconstructions of cities, streets, and rooms we once knew. Then the Continuants began observing our sleep, fear, private conversations, and the small disagreements that separated one mind from another. They collected skin traces from our chairs and analyzed our breath, treating our unmodified bodies as something rarer than alien life. The Continuants could manufacture flawless bodies, but their simplified artificial genome could no longer create a naturally conceived human child. They offered perfect health, permanent safety, and entry into their collective mind, where none of us would ever be alone again. In return, They wanted every cell we carried and permission to rebuild biological humanity from our bodies. Lena saw children and renewal in that offer. Claire saw lives that would be designed, studied, and absorbed before they could choose freedom. I understood them both, but Earth felt like a perfect replica of a house after everyone inside had died. The oceans, mountains, and sky remained, yet belonging had vanished. We were ancient specimens on Earth now, not citizens returning home. Elira offered danger and isolation, but also freedom, a functioning greenhouse and air that could protect us while we built something new. We voted inside Odyssey's command cabin. The choice was not unanimous, but the majority decided that we would return to Elira. The continuance did not stop us. They gave us a compact archive containing thousands of years of human history. They warned that another passage near the dark star might carry Earth beyond any future we could recognize or revisit. As Odyssey departed, the orbital ring turned across the atmosphere like a silver clock, measuring a civilization that had conquered death. The journey back felt shorter because nothing behind us could truly wait. Elira's dark star grew until it filled the forward glass. Distant light bent into a brilliant circle, and the universe distorted around Odyssey as we crossed the field for a second time. We landed beside the original basin, where our greenhouse still glowed beneath pale vines climbing across its transparent walls. Odyssey's instruments showed that only 11 months had passed on Elira since our departure, while another age had unfolded around Earth. We entered the forest carrying tools, seeds, and the archive of a civilization that no longer needed human bodies. Our old footprints had disappeared beneath silver moss, but Hannah discovered a worn stone path hidden near the greenhouse. The path descended under tangled roots into a section of forest we had never mapped, although its stones were smooth from impossible use. It ended in a circular clearing filled with hundreds of dark grave markers arranged in 6 widening rings. At the center stood one larger black stone, while our own names appeared on the nearest graves. Every carved letter matched handwriting stored in Odyssey's personal files, and several markers carried dates centuries ahead on Elira's calendar. Other graves were ancient enough for thick vines to split them apart, although the same 6 names remained visible. There was a grave for Lena, Malik, Hannah, Elias, Claire, and me, followed by more graves repeating those names across different dates. It looked as though our lives had begun and ended on Elira many times before our memories started. The central stone remained untouched by moss. Its black surface warmed as I approached, and a line of English appeared.
This is not your first
The
time.
message had been waiting for us.
First time here.
This is not your first time here. Behind the graves, the forest began to glow, and human-shaped figures moved silently between the trees. One figure entered the clearing wearing the remains of an Odyssey uniform older than anything aboard our ship. When it raised its head, I saw my own face staring back at me, unchanged, except for centuries of exhaustion. I understood why Elira healed us, why hidden structures formed circles, and why something beneath the forest had measured our arrival. The planet was not preserving us from time. It was returning us to a path we had already traveled. Perhaps we had chosen Elira before, built settlements, died, and been restored without the memories of our previous lives. Perhaps every escape from Earth carried us toward the same beginning, while millennia passed beyond the dark star. Odyssey's archive offered no answer. My crew stood behind me, young and terrified, beneath a sky where both moons were rising. For the first time, none of us wanted immortality, because endless life meant nothing if time could erase who lived it. We had believed time was an enemy defeated by speed, gravity, or technology. We were wrong. Time never needed to chase us. It only needed to reach our destination before we did.